A special delivery from DHL during lockdown. I wonder what it could be. It's from Apple. Is it the 2020 12.9-inch iPad Pro? I think so. Complete unboxing up next. Welcome, marketing chefs. I've got something truly special cooking in our Omni-Channel oven today. The 2020 12.9-inch iPad Pro. We'll do a detailed breakdown, review, and we'll talk about the latest accessories, including the ApplePencil and the all-new Magic Keyboard with Trackpad. Up next in the Marketing Kitchen. Welcome to the kitchen, the Marketing Kitchen. Hi, I'm Ron Vining, your host of MarketingKitchenTV. Let's take a look at the 2020 12.9-inch Apple iPad Pro. I'll be doing an unboxing along with a detailed overview of the Magic Keyboard with Trackpad as well as the ApplePencil. And I'll show you a comparison of the 2020 iPad Pro to the 2015 12.9-inch iPad Pro as well, and also take a look at a couple of MacBooks just to compare screen size. We'll be looking at the 12-inch MacBook as well as the 13.5 MacBook Pro, just for a comparison. And I'll also be talking about how to hook up a Thunderbolt 3 device. I'm having a little bit of trouble, and maybe in the comments below you can help me out, but I've got the 34-inch Samsung widescreen monitor, which has dual Thunderbolt 3 ports, and I've successfully paired my MacBook Pro to it, and I can successfully pair this, but not at the same time. So if you've got any pointers for me, please let me know in the comments below and we'll discuss it. We'll have a lot of fun talking about this all-new device, its ecosystem, and accessories. Up next in our Marketing Kitchen. All right, welcome to the unboxing. Over the past couple of weeks, I received 4 packages from Apple. It's always important when switching to a USB-C ecosystem that you get the proper cables. A Thunderbolt 3 cable is essential if you want to share video, data, and charge at the same time. And since I have an Apple Watch and I don't want to carry extra chargers when I travel, decided to upgrade. And of course, with my USB-C MacBook Pro, only thing waiting to convert over now would be the iPhone. Alright, what's in this box? It must be what I've been waiting for. I love Apple's packaging, and here she is, the iPad Pro. I like how when you pull those 2 tabs, the box slides forward, and here it is. Can't tell what the top or the bottom is with this orientation, but alright, there's the camera on the top. Alright, I'm excited to open this one up. Alright, here's some of the specs. Decided to get the 1 terabyte model because I want to try to use this iPad Pro to both film and edit video at the same time and then post it up to YouTube. We'll see how that goes. Not sure that there's really good mobile software for that yet. Alright, I'm ready to unbox this. You ready to check it out? We need to have some triumphant music playing, I think. Dun 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 dun. Alright, here it is with the cellophane off. Get a clearer picture of the packaging. Again, here's the specs. Alright, let's open this up without delay. Clear the station off first, right? What is on our storytelling stovetop today? Here she is. Again, Apple's fantastic packaging. At first, I've got to say, without the bezel, I'm afraid I'm going to drop it. Here's the connection point for the Magic Keyboard. Before I open that, let's see what else we have in the box here. Center this. Apple's going with old school here. The instructions that I wonder if anybody ever looks at anymore, but still have to love the stickers. After a decade plus of buying Apple products, I've got a lot of those apples. Alright, just talking about some of the gestures. And also this is Face ID equipped. If you live in the UK or in UK type countries, as I do here in Singapore, this is the charger you get. I believe that this was 18 watts. This was the travel one that you could buy for Apple Watch. You see how that just goes in and out. This is and this of course is a USB-C model. I have one for my Apple Watch, which is a typical or standard USB. But I really like that. That makes what would be a heavy cube not so cumbersome anymore. And of course, you know, why can't Apple give you a Thunderbolt 3 cable instead of just giving you that crap USB-C to USB-C cable? They don't make enough on their products, I guess, huh? Alright, let's open this one up. I'm excited. Again, afraid I'm going to drop this. It really, if you haven't had a bezel-less iPad yet, especially at 12.9 inches, it's yeah, you feel like you're gonna just dump it. The center of gravity just doesn't feel centered. All right, peeling this off. We're getting close now. This might be the longest unboxing in history. No, actually, I think one of my Lego videos unboxing the Lego Employee Gift Xmas Swing was longer. Anyway, just check out the way the antenna are here, and also the charge point for the wireless Magic Keyboard. There was where the SIM ejection tool is used there. Put your SIM card just like old school. There's for charging the ApplePencil. Speakers look great. Microphones up there. Yeah, I'm impressed. Of course, there's the USB-C. I want to give you a quick look at my dirty 12.9-inch iPad Pro from 2015. In comparison to the 2020 iPad Pro 12.9 inch. And I took it out of its case so that we could do a good side-by-side comparison here. It's funny, I'm just afraid to drop it. Alright, let's check them out side by side. Get an idea. The finish is the same, of course. The magnets of both of them are pulling them together. But I mean, the major difference here, just the 12.9 from 2015 is just a little bit taller. Not a lot, just a little bit. That's what I'm trying to show you with my hand gesture here. I mean, a real big difference is the antenna. But other than that, see the antenna band on the one on the left versus on the right. There's the connection point for the old versus the connection point there for the ApplePencil on that side. The dimensions are pretty similar, just for the sake of the bezel being missing. This new 2020 iPad really reminds me of iPhone 5. Just if you remember that sort of boxy square design. It's reminiscent of that. Also a phone that I was afraid I was going to drop when I first got that back in the day. Though I gotta say, that was a hardy device. But just lining them up, again, magnets are grabbing each other. Yeah. The bezel wasn't very thick on the sides, but it's gone now. Alright, let's take a look at a package that arrived just a few days later. One of the things I want to say about the second generation Apple Pencil, in contrast to the first, is just its size and shape, its overall design. I'm not going to get into the technical specs of it, but it has less latency, it is supposed to be more precise, and it also does have some touch gestures. So if you tap on the pencil twice, it will go from writing to erasing, which I think is pretty cool. And so I hope you're appreciating a voiceover as I struggle to get this open. The one arm. Alright, we got it. We got it. It's coming out now. I could see a Monty Python skit out of this. Maybe you can't. But this is just painful. Alright, it's coming out. It's coming out. We got it. Oh, alright. Here she is. Whew. One of the things that's missing in this box that was present in the first generation Apple Pencil is an extra tip. The first generation came with 2 tips, and then you could buy extras once they wear out, but not in this case. As you see, the new pencil is a bit shorter, it's a little bit thicker, and it's about the same weight. Let's take it over to the storytelling stovetop for a little better presentation, and I'll just talk about some highlights of the pencil again. The old school pencil, if you recall, you had to, this one's round, so it could roll away. I've been using it since 2015, and I haven't needed to replace the tip yet. So maybe that's a good sign. At least Apple did some branding on this new one, and you can actually see Apple and pencil on it. There was no mention of that on the first gen. The balancing of the weight feels a bit better on the new pencil, as opposed to the first generation pencil felt a bit top heavy. But the reason why it felt top heavy was primarily due to the fact of how it charged, I believe. But I really like how the new one charges. Just clips right onto the iPad by the magnet, and the magnet's pretty steady. I've tried to shake the pencil off and it wouldn't come off, so that's a good sign. But here's why the weight's unbalanced, because if you remember from the first generation iPad pencil, you would have to charge it by lightning, and it was a bit odd having it stick out. I typically would only charge it that way in an emergency. I would use the provided adapter to charge it with a lightning cable from either a Cube or from my iPhone or a MacBook or whatever the other source was. But yeah, the pencil magnetically adhering to the top of the new iPad is just great. Alright, my final item arrived a week later, or about 2 weeks later actually, take that back, and that is the the game changer. This is the Apple Magic Keyboard for iPad 12.9 inch and also the 11 inch. So for both of the Pro models, you can get this keyboard. I gotta say, this box is heavy. So, but I'm dying to check it out. Because we've been under lockdown, I haven't been able to see this in the store. I typically like to test an Apple device in the retail store before I buy it. So I'm rolling the dice here. I'm rolling the dice to the tune of $2,200 all in USD between the between the iPad Pro, this trackpad, the 2 cables I showed you, and of course the Apple Pencil. That's a lot of cash. That's just $200 less than I paid for my 13.5 inch MacBook Pro with an upgraded processor. I get it. I'm paying a premium for this. 1, because of the Magic Keyboard. 2, because of the fact that the iPad I went 1 terabyte, and then 3, because I went with a cellular model. But still, This product now is well within reach of a MacBook, and depending on which MacBook model you buy, you would spend less for a MacBook than you'd spend for this. All right, anyway, here is the trackpad, and I got to tell you, the construction is really sturdy. This baby is as heavy as the iPad itself. The keyboard feels solid to me. That is a glass trackpad. The keys are backlit. There is a lot of metal in this case, so that it's quite rigid, it's sturdy, and it be able to hold your iPad quite steadily. It's not as flexible, obviously, due to the fact of its hinges and the components that are within. But I think that's necessary. Take a look on the right-hand side there where the pins where it connects. But attaching the iPad is really simple. You just line up the camera, the square camera, put it on there, and there she goes. I'm working on a Lego set in the back corner there. Future video coming up. But yeah, I really like how it sits. It's heavy. At first, I got to tell you, out of the box, I was afraid to bend it. I wasn't sure how far it would go, what exactly the articulation was. Obviously didn't want to break it. This, I wouldn't say that it's non-intuitive, but it requires a little bit of practice. Display it as easily as one would like. But the keys feel good. This keyboard is about the same size as the Magic Keyboard, so it's the same width. The keys are a bit smaller than on this device. If you're used to typing on a MacBook and you're used to this keyboard, it will be quite easy for you to get adjusted. Here I want to compare the 12-inch MacBook, the 12.9-inch 2015 iPad Pro, the 2020 12.9-inch iPad Pro, to my 2018 13.5-inch MacBook Pro. So just to give you an overview of where this device compares in the lineup of iPad as well as MacBook. Here it is side by side with the 12-inch MacBook, and pretty much fitting in the same footprint. Pretty similar. The weight, however, is not. The width of the Magic Keyboard, this iPad is more than double the weight of the 12-inch MacBook. And considering the limitations of a single USB-C port on both, well, two, I guess we could call it, on the other, these are pretty comparable devices, though the iPad Pro is much more powerful than the Intel mobile processor that can be found in the MacBook. All right, here it is comparing the 12.9-inch iPad Pro from 2015 in its case. This silicone case, this white one, is just horrible. I've had to buy 3 covers since 2015 because they just rot away. Maybe it's the humidity of Singapore, but the construction hasn't been too good. And where you plug in the lightning cable, it's cracked. Just from inserting that. I mean, that was a problem with the original iPhone cases as well, but Apple's moved away from that, obviously, with this device. But anyway, you can just see the difference in the articulation. The screen is, it is nicer. Huge difference? No, but it is nicer. But just to give you a size comparison. All right, and now this is really where the showdown begins. This is the 13.5-inch MacBook Pro compared to the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. Pretty much same footprint, pretty much same power, which is quite surprising, but it's really just due to the OS. There's more connectivity for the MacBook, obviously. Let's talk about weight. Because of the Magic Keyboard, this baby is heavy. It doubled the weight of the 2020 iPad. And then picking this up, this isn't so light either. Imagine what the 16 is like. But who's the winner of these two? Actually, I feel that my MacBook is a little bit lighter than the iPad. All right, let's take a look at the camera for the 2020 iPad Pro, since this is one of the new key features here. It is not the 3 camera, even though it's a square, it's not 3 cameras, it's 2. So how does it compare to the iPhone Pro? Well, let's take a look. And here's just an example of the pictures side by side. On the left is the 2019 iPhone Pro, and on the right is the 2020 iPad Pro. This is a crop of taking a wide angle lens shot, and as you can see, they're pretty much the same. I don't even think that there's really much of a difference. Now let's look at it on the wide angle view. This is a shot from the iPhone Pro with its 3 camera, which it has zoom in, normal, and then wide. And it's a clear shot. It captures more of the kitchen than you will see from my iPhone XS Max. Now let's take a look at the 2020 iPad Pro on wide. And as you see, it pretty much captures the same width. The color's a bit richer, which means I believe that the 3 camera for the iPhone Pro is a bit better for picking up more accurate color. The iPad is good with its wide and normal aperture, but it's missing the zoom in that the iPhone Pro has. I wanted to remind you, make sure you get a Lightning to USB-C cable if you want to connect your iPhone. Now, hooking up a Thunderbolt 3 device should be pretty easy. As you can see, I just hooked up my MacBook Pro to my Samsung Thunderbolt 3 monitor, and it works. It's a dual Thunderbolt 3 monitor, so I can charge my iPad Pro while I'm also utilizing my MacBook and charging it to the monitor. As well as I have access to those 2 hard drives that I have connected to the monitor. So it works as a docking station. But see what happens when I try to connect the 2 Thunderbolt ports for using video. It's just not possible. So I really wanted to do a side-by-side with my MacBook and my iPad. That was my goal all along. It just won't let me do it. So the only solution is to use that adapter. Utilizing the case, you can connect your iPad a couple of different ways. One of the great things about USB-C on an iPad is the ability to hook on a thumb drive. And if you go into Files, you can see that the thumb drive is located there, and you can access any of the media. So that's a major upgrade for the iPad line. And I've also tested out third-party accessories. So here with DisplayPort as well as USB-C, I could plug that in, and I've tested that out and be able to access hard drives or anything else with USB-C. And again, just want to do a comparison sort of side by side in a real use case of the iPad, old legacy iPad to the new to my MacBook Pro. The only thing missing here is the touch bar, but I can touch the screen of the iPad. And that's one of the things I've had a tough time getting adjusted to, actually, is making use of the trackpad, the keyboard, and the touchscreen. Just used to living in an environment of one or the other. And here's just another comparison of the Magic Keyboard compared to the Magic Keyboard case for iPad, just to show you. One of the key advantages, of course, is the backlit display for iPad now, which is quite impressive that it has that. Let me just show you what you could do to try to replicate this. And you could do your Magic trackpad with your Magic Keyboard and hook it up to the old school iPad and get the same. Maybe. You'd be bringing 3 things out with you, separated instead of 1. Utilizing the trackpad is as simple as using the trackpad on your MacBook. Not much difference. The gestures are quite similar, so if you're used to gestures for your iPad, it's easy to do gestures on the trackpad as well. And here you see I have it hooked up to my monitor. The only disappointment is that I can't hook both my MacBook and my iPad at the same time, so I don't know what the benefit of dual Thunderbolt 3 is. But the keyboard's great. It feels just like the keyboard on my MacBook. Here's plugging it in onto the iPad itself versus plugging it into the case. Gives you flexibility. And then you can plug it in down here. Now, the difference, by the way, between these two is the fact that on the iPad itself is for data, video, and charging, as opposed to in the case is just for charging. The ApplePencil is fabulous. It, again, no latency. You can do so many things with it. The gesturing is fantastic on there. I would say that this is perfected, and I'm quite impressed overall. Really am. I'm not sure how I'm going to use this new iPad, but it's so close to being a MacBook Pro now. And just the ease, I guess, of pulling it out of the case and then putting it back in. Yeah, I mean, it's fabulous. It's just, what is it, though? Is it an iPad or is it a MacBook? I'm not sure. I don't know if Apple knows what they're doing yet. There's rumors, of course, of an ARM MacBook. Just as a reminder, when you buy a new Apple device, you can get 1 year free of Apple TV. And I have had the advantage of making use of that subscription. And I've got to say that the new show Defending Jacob is fantastic. I really like The Banker as well. That was a great movie. And For All Mankind, it was a little bit laggy series, but I really enjoyed it. It was by the creators of Battlestar Galactica. And so if you're a fan of that, I think you'll enjoy that as well. Thanks for tuning in for our overview of the 2020 Apple 12.9-inch iPad Pro. I hope you found this discussion of interest, and if you'd like to have me do more technology reviews or unboxings, whatever, just let me know in the comments below. I would really appreciate it if you would both like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel. And it'd be fantastic if you could share our channel with some of your friends, because the only way we're going to grow, and the only incentive for me to be putting up interesting, diverse, and new content is if I hear from you, because otherwise I'm just talking to myself, and I don't have to do that on YouTube. All right, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember, there's always fresh content simmering on our storytelling stovetop. So whatever happens in this kitchen shouldn't stay in this marketing kitchen. I'm Ron Vining, your host, reminding you to invite your family and friends to the next episode of Marketing Kitchen TV.
Get up and celebrate one more time. Get up and celebrate.
I might put that at the back of this video. And it's and it's success.